Well, this is how I hopefully grow my flower show and perpetual carnation. Last year I grew all my perpetual carnations in the same 2-litre pots, but all on the sand. Well, during the hot days I used to bring the hose in first thing in the morning and damp down to try and stop that red spider mite, which is very fatal for perpetual carnation. Well, by damping down, all my carnations later in the year got the wilt. So I had to destroy all of them and buy fresh stock. And this is what I bought this year. But I've got to grade them through. I mean, this one here, which is a lovely cream, beautiful flower. It's got the size and it's a Max Holloway cream. Now that one, if that was for September, about the 12th, that would have been one in my vase of 3, definitely. But the only trouble is, you must get 3 all the same size. If not, probably the judge would just discard it. I mean, I think I've got 3. I've got 1, 2. I think I've got 3 almost identical shape. And I never cut my carnations with scissors. I always break them off at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at the 7th notch down. The only time I use the scissors is when they're off the plant, because by cutting scissors you carry disease from one plant to another. They're all new varieties, as you know. That's Angus Royal Purple, that one. I shall probably put a label on that for propagating, and I shall probably grow about 15 of that another year. Hopefully that I could get 3 for the Wicker Market show later in the year, which is September. But the problem is with perpetual carnations, you can't judge on any timing of them. So what I'll do is I shall take different cuttings and I shall stop them at different dates. And the particular date one which will bloom in September, I shall mark that, and that'll be the one what I shall save and carry on from year after year, hopefully. One of my favourites from my old stock, the variety name is Christina, but as you can see, it's got a not too strong a stem and it's small. I like my carnations to be at least 3 inches across, and they've got to be a strong stem and it's got to look parallel on top. This one here, they all arrived on the 25th of March, and that's called Hugo, and it's a red and white. To me it could be a banker, which I'll probably grow on for another year, and that was a £3 cutting. And another one here, which I don't think I'll probably grow on, it's called Marizona, and that was a £3 cutting. And the other one was this one here, which possible could grow to a show carnation. That was another £3, and that was called Alicia. Carnations, they don't always form to a perfect as I want. I mean, they've all got floppy petals, not got a good centre. Now this one, that could be a probably show. It's Alcardi. I think this one is still getting the prizes at the North of England Harrogate show. But I'm hoping that these 3 of 1, 2, 3, 4 plants here will be ideal for the September show. If not, there'll be no carnations and no silver challenge bowl. Probably I won't win that again, but there again, I've had it 3 years on the trot, which I'm very pleased with. Carnations you can see on that picture are the ones that won me that silver bowl last year, and that variety is called Vienna. It's a lovely strong growing carnation. I always have a lovely big head, lovely strong stem. Vienna, but as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lovely breaks coming there, which I shall propagate later on in my propagator, and we go from there. Then I'll probably discard that through the winter, because I normally only grow my carnations 1 year only. It's got a clip at the bottom which holds this plastic 3 foot plastic rod, and all these are just adjustable. And why I'm buying these are they're so easy for cleaning later on in the year, because they won't rot. You just put them in a pail, wash them, sterilise your pot, and they're ready for another year. But when I first started growing perpetual carnations, I was growing them with 4 split canes and string round, but I was in here till midnight some nights tying them up. But this is a quite simple method. Another thing I normally been told to do is to get rid of the salt from out of the pot, because they like the pH a little bit on the alkaline side. So what I normally do, in April, I give each pot a teaspoonful of dynamite lime. When you break your carnations, you should always go down to the 7th notch, which avoiding the first pair under the calyx. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should snap out lovely and cleanly. From that should show a nice break later on in the year, and that's where I'll take my cutting from. And this would go in deep water for 48 hours in a cool place. Then I would take that out, then it'd be ready for packing. But another thing which I normally put on my carnations when they're 3 parts out is this little cardboard disc. That's what I call to keep the blooms lovely and flat. And don't forget, that's what we call a calyx ring. We put them on because if we don't have a calyx ring on, or this is a twist tie, I've realised that twist ties do the job as just an ordinary metal clip. So we put that on. If we don't put that on, the calyx will split and the bloom will just hang down and it's useless. So we mustn't forget, and you mustn't forget to take those off before you exhibit these or your disc. If not, you'll be in trouble. So what we do is, when they're on the plant, 3 parts out, I just put that underneath, turn it off like that, push it up like that, and as the petals are forming, that'll keep that the bloom lovely and flat. And when I transport them, they have the same procedure. They go in a box with 6 holes in, and I have a felt ring around the top, and I drop them right down into a little jar of water or a plastic pot of water, and that's how I transport them. Growing carnations, you must have at least 9 inches from the top of the pot to underneath the bloom, or up to 18 inches. If you're over 18 inches in a big show, you'd get disqualified. I go around to different shows. I mean, we've been to Southport show, actually bought some carnations back from Southport, just in a bag, 2 or 3. And we've been to Shrewsbury show, we've been to Harrogate show, and I've joined the British Carnation Society, and I also belong to the Lancashire and Cheshire Society. And there you get bulletins, I read about carnations, and that's where I get my information how to grow them, or try to grow them. I mean, to me, I'm a novice grower, but I think if I could get the stock, I could hold my own at any show for a carnation grower. There's another lovely flower of, don't forget to take the calyx off. And we just strip these down. These won't go in deep water because I'm only just putting them in for quite easy to grow perpetual carnations. The only thing that I dislike about this variety is the foliage. It seems as though, I know it's a spray of Maxicrop which I've put on there, which has helped to stop the red spider mite, because the little blighters, they will get underneath here, and once you get them in your greenhouse they'll go through the whole lot in a night. Now I could arrange them, but one is a little bit weak on its stem, but there again, it's a new variety. It's probably another year I should probably have bigger and better blooms and a stronger stem. If you go to a big show, you'd want probably 3 vases of 5. So it's 15 blooms. That's if you go to Harrogate or Toaster or Southport or any of the big shows. Put 3 of those in at Wicker Market. The first prize I get £3. Hardly buy a cutting, but there we are. I love growing them, and that's one of my favourite flowers. I suppose it must have been in 1960, 64, 65. That was when I started doing a little bit of gardening on my own, and I went out one day and bought a packet of seeds, and it was a cabbage, and this particular cabbage was called Autumn Pride, and I grew that down at Suffolk Hall. This is a result of my Autumn Pride cabbages, and my brother Charles, he was amazed that I found a cabbage what I'd get first prize at the flower show, which I got here, which was taken by the East Anglia Daily Times, which pleased me. Also my brother. I gradually kept putting more exhibits on it each year until the final year in '79. That's when I managed to win the Silver Challenge Cup and the Lady Pellish Cup. But I was up amongst 1 or 2 good gardeners, but particularly Pete Ashley, which I was very pleased because he always used to win the prizes for the potatoes, and that particular year I swept the deck right through the open and the cottage class. Mind you, there's another gentleman named Mr. C.W. Brown, and I don't know if I know him very well, but he didn't show too much that year, so I think he let me off the hook a bit, I think, that year. I don't know, I think if he'd have been full out, I don't think I'd have won those 2 trophies. There was Mrs. Peggy Cole, she used to come from Charlesville. There was Sam King from Butley, he used to show, he's a very good gardener. And there was Mr. John Backhouse, who was another very good gardener. And there was, I think his father used to come from Sutton odd times and show, and plus my brother. Well, I started off with growing a few chrysanthemums, and I managed to show and took them to Wicker Market, and I had one particular variety which was called Vanessa Lynn. It was a fantastic flower. It was a 24B, and it was like a silver creamy, and I used to bag that, and taking the bag off, it just dressed itself. Didn't want to hardly touch a petal on it, and I got the first prize for that at Wicker Market for the best specimen in the 24B class, which I was very pleased. I mean, there was some quite a good growers then, which they still is. Well then, as I said, my work got so I couldn't cope with it, because growing anything in growing vegetables, whole flowers, you have to spend a lot of time on weekends. So 79, that's when I start winning trophies, and that looks as you can see on the table here. I'm still winning them. I mean, I won 5 trophies that year. And that's now just on 30 years since I've won another 5 trophies, which I'm quite pleased about that, plus the silver medals. I think I've won this three years on the trot. That's for the best vegetable exhibit in the show at Wicker Market. I won with a collection of potatoes, 3 leeks, and this year runner beans, which the judges said they are almost perfect, and also they awarded me the silver medal again this year for my runner beans. If you've got a good bean and give it plenty of water and a little bit of nursing, they'll grow to show perfection.
You're going to tell us the secrets?
Well, there's not much secret really about growing runner beans. As long as when the blooms come on, you give them plenty of water and you've got the right strain. But there's no secret about a runner bean. I mean, I only grow the stenna now, which a lot of people grow, and it grows to about 14 to 16 inches in length, and that's the knack of getting them. Timing is the main thing of runner beans, getting them just right for the show, so you've got the 6 or 9 at the same length. This one I've won now 2 years on the trot. That was Wicker Market, the best shallots in the show. And this one was one for the most points for the members class in the show, and that was the complete 3. Then come to Framlingham. It's the first time I've ever exhibited at Framlingham. I won this one for vegetables, most points for vegetables, and surprisingly this one was awarded me again this year for the retired chairman. He thought that he'd like to give a trophy to the flower show, and this year he awarded that to me for the most points in the members class, which was a very nice cut. And that completes the 5.
Did you put any of your carnations in to the flower show?
The carnations, I exhibit them at the Wicker Market. They got me first prize, but I didn't win the cup for them this year, but I won that 2007 and 2008, the 2 for the best cut flower in the show. But I don't think I shall come up to my standing, my brother. I'm trying, but I think he's just got a little bit ahead of me. He's got a little bit more knowledge, and I think he's got a few more tricks that he won't let me have just yet.